Bangthebook.com. It's Kyle Hunter. It is Saturday, March 16th. I'm just going to do a quick video here. Not near as much I can do with this video as normal because we don't know what the matchups are going to be for the Saturday college basketball games. Obviously, it depends on who wins the Friday games and who plays on Saturday. So we'll see who wins those games. We will project a few lines here, talk about if a team plays a certain team, how it might look. But other than that, I'm going to look at a couple futures plays, look and see if we can find any value on those futures. Futures market's certainly interesting this time of the year. So before I get into this, check out the daily article at bangthebook.com, college basketball free pick article every single day. I put that up. 78 and 54 so far this year. We'll try to finish that out well. Situational articles at bangthebook.com, Bang the Book Radio, great content daily. You know there's going to be a lot of great content there next week with the NCAA tournament there. Subscribe to Bang the Book on YouTube for the daily videos. Let's get into some of these matchups, talk about some potentials. Michigan State and Wisconsin. I think this is a likely matchup here. Michigan State probably -4.5 or 5 in this game. I like this Wisconsin team. I'm concerned, though, about their guard play against elite guards like Winston. Michigan State is a complete team. I don't think Michigan State's a great team. I think they're a very good team. But Wisconsin has some weaknesses. They play hard, play good defense. Ethan Happ's a very good post player, very good post moves down there. The kind of old school low post player that you don't see very often anymore. Iverson's played well lately for them, but the Badgers don't have any really great guards. In this game, if this is the matchup, I lean Michigan State, and I also lean to the under. I think Wisconsin will fight hard to try to slow this game down. They don't want to get in a running game with Michigan State. Auburn and Florida, or South Carolina and Florida, one of those two will be the matchup here. We try to do this video early, so there's plenty of lead time, but they're playing right now, Auburn and South Carolina. So I'm not really sure who that matchup will be. Obviously, Auburn was favorite. So Auburn, I'm going to say Auburn against Florida -1.5, 134 or so. Auburn would be favored there. South Carolina against Florida. Florida maybe -4.5 or 5, 132.5, likely the total, somewhere in that range. Florida's really good on the offensive glass, very weak when it comes to defensive rebounding. So are both South Carolina and Auburn, though. So I wanted to point this out because you watch some of these games, you look at Florida versus LSU, and you look at Florida versus either of these two teams, what you're going to see is a lot of second chance points, a lot of second chance points. So that can be a real detriment if you have the under. You don't want that tip in constantly happening. You get 2 or 3 chances, it's a lot easier to score than if you get that one shot. So I like unders with Florida in general, but you have to really worry about unders with them if you face a team that's very good at offensive rebounding. That's what they're going to face here, no matter who they play between these two teams. Bridgestone Arena, a good under arena, 39 and 29 the under in the postseason. So I wouldn't want to take the over, but it's a cautionary note there on the under. Duke and Virginia, UNC and Virginia. I'm going to assume Virginia wins that game, although Virginia against Florida State, Virginia could certainly lose. Florida State's an inconsistent team. They have a high ceiling, low floor. Duke and North Carolina, I don't know who's going to win that game. Duke's the favorite. Duke's the most complete team in the country. Try to get revenge there. Duke has figured out the Virginia defense better than UNC has. Large reason for that, in my opinion, Duke better in the half-court sets. North Carolina relies quite a bit on transition offense. Virginia very good at getting back on defense. They don't even really try to get offensive rebounds much at all. They just go back there and set up that pack line defense. So North Carolina has had a hard time with that. Duke has done better with that. Having said that, Duke shot it really well from 3 last time they played Virginia. I don't think they can keep shooting that well from 3, but obviously Duke's a different team with Zion Williamson. I think Duke, Virginia would likely be about a pick 'em, and Duke, maybe even Duke -1 in that one, depending on how they play against North Carolina. North Carolina and Virginia, I'd say Virginia about -3 in that game. This is one where I would look maybe to lean to the under in this matchup if I had to take something. I will say I think Virginia is more motivated for this tournament usually than is Duke. Virginia really wants to win this tournament. Duke seems to look at this as kind of a prep for the NCAA tournament. So I think that's a complicated handicap in that one. I would lean to the under if I had to take anything. Purdue and Michigan, I think this one would be a great game. Pick them 132.5 or so. Carson Edwards versus Xavier Simpson, great matchup. Michigan's better on defense. Purdue's better on offense. So Hard to handicap this game, to be honest with you. If I had to pick something in this one, I would lean Michigan because of the coaching advantage here. Tennessee and Kentucky. Kentucky minus 2.5, 141.5, somewhere in that range. Mississippi State and Kentucky. Kentucky minus 6.5, 141.5. I know Alabama at least has a chance to pull off the upset against Kentucky, but I really do think Kentucky will win that game. Tennessee likely beats Mississippi State, but who knows? As you watch this video, that game probably already happened. So as I do this video, it hasn't happened yet. I'll give you both games as a potential here. Calipari's teams don't sleepwalk through this tournament. They really want to win this tournament. I like Kentucky to win this SEC tournament. I like their defense. I like the way they attack the offensive glass, get a lot of second chance, get to the free throw line a lot. They do not settle for threes. I like that quite a bit about this Kentucky team. I think they're a very dangerous team. So my lean in both of these games would be Kentucky. And I would also lean to the under based on the Bridgestone Arena factor and the fact that Kentucky has slowed their tempo down of late, and they're very good on defense. Let's look at a couple of futures here really quick. Duke was plus 225 or so most places now with Zion Williamson back. Obviously, he was so good last night. This is a Duke team that has a really high upside. They have a higher upside than does anybody else in the ACC, anybody else in the country, not just the ACC. Duke is such a good team. The thing I like about them, and I'm not a Duke fan, I'm saying this as a bettor. The thing I like about Duke is that they can win different ways. They can also win with defense this year. They're much better on defense than they've been some of these past years when they have a lot of the freshmen. Duke has a lot of length. They have some shot blockers. They don't have to win by shooting well. They don't have to outscore you. It doesn't have to be a 90 to 85 type game. I think plus 225 is a decent price here. What I would like to do here is if Duke would lose here against North Carolina or Virginia, let's see what futures price they have. The ideal situation would be Duke loses one of these games and has a really poor performance. Then you try to buy low on Duke. We'll see if that happens or not. One other I wanted to mention real quick, Houston, 40 to 1 or so on this one. I think I kind of like this one. Houston, they don't have any real weaknesses as a team. I know that they haven't played the schedule that a lot of teams have, and that's the big knock on them. But they're likely to get about a 3 seed or so. I think Houston could make some noise. Davis is a very good player. Kelvin Sampson's done a great job coaching this team. Deep team, a team that can win different ways. Like I said about Duke, obviously they're not on the level of Duke. But I think this Houston team, you get a 3 seed, you get about 40 to 1. I think it's a pretty good price here on Houston. I think they may be still a team that people would overlook as far as having a chance to win the NCAA tournament. I think the AAC a little bit better than I thought it was going to be this year. And I think Houston has proven themselves pretty well at this point. So give this video a thumbs up if you like it. Certainly helps out and encourages us to do more videos in the future. I hope everybody has a great weekend. Enjoy the basketball, and let's look forward to March Madness coming up next week.